And is it also one of the reasons why you guys have your own LLMs and your own cloud as a part of your career, your roadmap?
Yeah, I think some of those business strategies, like I said, they are primarily driven from the point of view of sort of bringing the overall cost for the end customers down, right? And um making it, I think two motivations, right? One is that most of these models are built English first. I mean, they perform very well, as long as your queries are in English. um, and there is most of the data that's gone into these models is is sort of global data, which is openly sort of openly available. So one motivation is to sort of make these models more India specific, um, by by including a lot of data that is um, that sort of has Indian Indian culture, Indian ethos, representative of sort of these aspects. The other motivation, like I said, is the cost aspect, right? How to sort of bring down that cost, such that it's at a sweet spot for Indian customers. And yeah, so that can happen, if you have like a control on the overall end-to-end sort of development setting, right? So
Got it, Ashish. So Ravi, I wanted to understand. You are implementing different AI within your products for your customers. How do you justify the high initial costs of AI implementation to your stakeholders?
Well, thanks for the question, Gautam. I think I'll change the question a bit, or not change the question, but maybe the narrative. Rather than the cost, I think it's an investment, I would say. So, yes, it's a high investment activity to begin with. Uh, Overall, I think to build any kind of support within the organization, right, to any kind of AI implementation, you have to curate the narrative, uh, and focus on the long-term value creation. So, who are the beneficiaries? Like, for any kind of AI implementation that you do in your organization, it's either people, it's either the product or the process, or all three, or any combination of these three. Now, in terms of the value creation, if you look at internally, you are creating value for your processes, you are increasing your efficiency, you are able to create a niche for your product. uh, Externally, you are serving for your customers, you are better able to understand the customers, you are better able to serve the customers in a very bespoke manner, right? Like, I could be different compared to you in terms of my needs. AI is able to understand that and be able to deliver that. So, keeping these principle in mind, we curate different narrative to onboard different stakeholders within the organization. As like as the cost piece, right? Like, you have different type of cost involved. You have different type of stakeholders involved as well. Internally, you have product stakeholders, right? How do you convince the product people to kind of make such changes, right? You talk about efficiency gains, you talk about again, long term value creation, focus on the long term piece. You talk about efficiency gains, you talk about what product niche you can deliver with this. You talk about like, what kind of more and more customers you can attract with this. To your CEO, to your top brass, you talk about, okay, what is the competitive advantage you can get with this? As you talk about the opportunity cost for not implementing it, right? Sometimes changing the narrative to, from hey, this is the gain that you have versus this is much the loss that you can have if you don't do this, might work as well. Like, fear of missing out, FOMO, right? So that also works well. And the third is definitely in terms of, how do you mitigate the short term, the optics, like how do you kind of modulate that, the high investment, maybe go towards a different route, like build, buy, or rent, right? As you said, moving on to your own data warehouse, or do a cloud-based solution, uh, have a mixed model rather than developing your entire model all together in-house. You have a hybrid, right? You pick up some portion of Llama, you pick up some portion of Gemini, you pick up some portion from your in-house data as well. So keeping all these things together, you build out different narratives. You kind of convince those folks as per what their separate metrics look like. You create an ROI roadmap, find out the real milestone, short term to a 1 year to a 2 year plan. And that's how you kind of engage with those people. That's how you curate those narrative and bring those stakeholder on board.